Hello, hello, hello. Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Sorry, I'm going to move this around a little bit. I was having trouble with it. I've recorded this video 3 times already. And so I'm being extra cautious that it's going this direction. It keeps going portrait on me and I can't figure out why. But now we are we are good. So, Patricia here, Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, but more specifically in Alaska. And today on the blog hop, we are going to do a template. And one thing I really cannot encourage you enough is to create a template. Forgot to turn the lights on. I'm so discombobulated just because I've done this so many times. Anyway, that should be good. So I encourage you to do a template anytime you do a card so that when you get done with making the template, you can put it in a box with all your other templates. And then when you want to make a card and you're like, I don't know where to start with this, you can go to your templates and make it. Now, I will say this. I made this on a full card for not a fun fold, but for just a regular card. I usually just do it on a quarter of a piece of cardstock, just the front of the card. And then I put the directions on the back so that when I pull this out, I don't have to go through it and, oh, wait a minute, how do you make this card again? Okay, another thing that I want you to, this is the card that we're going to make. And I've got a halfway completed version because what I want to show you on this is, you'll notice this is how my template looks. It's sort of evenly distributed between the top and the bottom and the left and the right. And this one is all the way to the top. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to put another sentiment on it. It doesn't really matter how you do it. As a matter of fact, if I take this one, let me show you this one because I can move it around. And also, it doesn't matter if I've got some spots on there and just cover them up. So I wouldn't want to do this one down here because of that. I could, though, turn it this way and do landscape, especially if I had a sentiment that goes up and down. Or I could do it on the other side if I didn't have these splotches that I got somehow. But it's okay as long as I cover it up. I could put it back in the middle. So this time the card opens this way. So I take my card and I can open it this way. Now, the only problem on this one that I have with that is my sentiment is here. Okay, so I wouldn't want to, if I were just putting in colors, I would not want to do this one, or landscape, portrait, landscape. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to make the card with measurements and all of that. This is the end product. And whoa, excuse me, I hit the camera. So what I've got to have is my cardstock, and I need a half of a sheet, half of an 8.5 by 11. So this is my 11-inch side. This is my 5.5 or 8.5-inch side. I cut it at 4 1/4 and on the 11-inch side. And then if I went through that too fast, just let me know and I can do you a video. So I'm going to fold it. Give it a good burnish with my bone folder, and my card base is ready to go. Then my layer is 4 by 4. Okay, and so I can, again, decide, do I want it to go this way? Do I want it to go this way? Where do I want to do that? And so it's often kind of nice, and I suggest that you do all of your layers before you put them together, because that can help you if you're going to make a mistake on it. You know, we make mistakes all the time, and that's okay as long as we know how to fix them. Okay? All right, so here we go. Here are my strips. They are, now you know what? These are not the correct strips because these are 1 inch and I want 1 1/4. So hold on one sec. Let me grab my correct strips. Okay, so the strips are 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. Let me make sure that that is correct. 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. Okay, and I need 4 of those, 4 strips, 1 1/4 by 2 1/2. All right, so I've got my strips, then I've got my 4x4 layer, and I am just going to lay these out on here before I glue them down. And what I want is about 1/8 of an inch on the outside all the way around. Okay, so just sort of, and they should line up with each other on the sides, bottoms, tops, all that good stuff. All right, once you've got it on there laid out, you can start gluing it together. And you know what? I might want to do this one. Do I want to do this? It doesn't matter. Yeah, I might. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'm trying to figure out here in just a second. So I'm going to glue this down. And the reason I like the green glue, or as we call it, the green glue, is because it gives me a little bit of movement time to make sure I have everything set up correctly. Now, another thing you could do on this is use this side of the DSP. And by the way, I did not show you which DSP I'm using. So let me do that. It is the Scenic Coast DSP. This is the back of it. Look how gorgeous it is. It's almost a sacrilege to use that back, though, because the front is so gorgeous. But I had some strips left over from another project. Oops, that one's upside down, which is probably okay, but I'm going to turn it right side up for us. And, well, that one's upside down, too. And that one's side, this way. All right, let me show them to you again. There we go. They are so gorgeous. I love that really shiny part on them. So once you've cut these, you could even possibly use the back. I'm going to go with what I've got, but you know, you could. And it depends on the DSP you're using. You don't have to do, you know, this is a good one to use some of your scraps up with. You can use some of that old DSP. Isn't that gorgeous? You can use some of that old DSP you've got and just use it up. And use up those scraps. And voila, there you go. Okay, so now I have my card base. I have my card. I can put this, or my layer. I can put that wherever I want. The next thing I want to do is bring out my Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. And I have my vellum here that I'm going to use. Let me make sure you can see me. And by the way, I'll show you where I got this template from in just a minute. I am going to put this. Now let me show you. I've done this video so many times I'm forgetting to show you where I got all this information from. So this came from Sunset Coast and Scenic Coast Designer Series paper. And this is the stamp set and the dies. So here is the stamps. We're going to use this and the sun for the inside of our card. We're going to use congratulations for our sentiment. and it's Sunset Coast. And I pulled this one out because I thought I might use this seagull. This is Relaxing Waterside. I decided not to, but you could. All right, so I've got, well, I was going to show you this. Whoops, this is my net that I'm cutting out of vellum. And we're going to cut out the seagulls and the fence and the shells. Okay, so I love the vellum for this. Whoops, it does help if you put the top on that. Layers are 1 and 2, and paper, or in this case, vellum, and then layer 2 again. Oh, and then your die, and then your layer 2. I'm talking layers, I mean these plates. Okay, so, whoops, you know, one thing I have discovered on this net, it's so intricate. I think I'm going to roll it through again. Now, what I would normally do is roll it through, make sure it clicked so that I know that it's all the way through, and then just roll it back. It doesn't hurt it to do it a third time, so I'll just show you how I would normally do it. All right, then when it's all the way out, I'm going to put my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine aside. I'm going to pull this out, and you'll notice that a lot of those little pieces, let me show you something. Do you see those little pieces there? If you put glue strip, what do you call those things? Anyway, on the back of this, not only will your netting glue down, but all these little pieces, don't those look like fish scales to you? Isn't that cool? So anyway, then I'm going to take my die and I'm just going to push all of those extra fish scales out. They do look fish scales to somebody besides me, right? There we go. Got all those out. Ta-da! And then make sure they're out on this side as well. And then I will poke the whole thing out. Okay, so once I've got all right, it's not coming. So I'll push this through those little holes with your take your pick tool and then pull it off. There we go. There's my netting. Isn't that cool using that vellum? So I am not going to use these as fish scales. So I'm going to get rid of that real quick. All right, pretty much gone. I'm not going to worry about it. All right, here's my netting that I'm going to use. Then I'm going to take on black. I am going to cut out my fence and my seagulls. Put those on there. Whoops, I don't want them moving because I've got just a little space for them. There we go. Move this out of the way. Bring back my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Pop it in there. And let's run it through as straight as we can. I hear my little Dobie girl. She's in there whining because Mama's not holding her. Maybe I'll show you a picture of her or something here in a minute. All right, so we pull that out. There we go. Now I've got my fence pieces and my seagulls. That one stayed in there, so I'm going to poke it out. There we go. Okay. And can you hear her whining? You probably can't, but she's telling this mama that she's lonely. She's a lonely girl. All right. So both of those are out. Poke my little pieces out. There you go. Pull that up. It's nice sometimes when you pull it up and it leaves them behind, but not always. All right. One last thing. We are going to do our seashells. And to do our seashells, we are going to take just a scrap, and with our crumb cake and a brush, we are going to put some color down. Okay? I don't want it doesn't have to be even, because I'm trying to get variants. That's why I didn't use Crumb Cake cardstock. Have you seen our new, I just love these new stamp pads. And then next year we'll have, and by the way, this is Barely Blush. Okay, there we go. Now we've got some good seashell color. Don't those look like seashells already? Or not. But we're going to make them look like seashells. So we'll pull out our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. And layer those on there. Put this, whoop, and it needs to go down so that it'll actually cut. And put that in there. And roll it through. It's jerking on me because I've got it on my glass mat. I normally just, and then I can fold my wings up. I normally just cut on the table, but I thought I would go ahead and show you cutting these out. Now I've got lots of good color on those. Okay, they're not solid and they look more like seashells ish. All right, let's put that away. And let's finish putting our card together. All right, so I want my fence pieces to go down here. Like that. And I am going to use my glue. Now I could, you know, there's lots of different ways to put down your glue. I'm just going to do some, once I've got it coming out, some little dots. Ooh, that's a little much. So I'll pick that up on this one. There we go. And I'm just really going to do a very, very thin dot or two. Come on. There we go. There we are. Okay. You wanted to hear me say there we are about 10 times, right? All right, that one. And this one. And of course, now that I'm not talking, she's not whining. She's decided she's not going to get attention. All right, there we are. I love it. All right, we're going to put that here. I've already stamped congratulations. So what I'm going to do here is, let me just use my paper snips. Here we go. And I'm going to make it a little long so that I can cut. Whoa, that's not quite even, is it? There we go. And cut in just a little bit. And go from then that corner to the end of that snip. From the corner to the end of that snip. And I get a nice little flag. Okay. So then let's put our seagulls on. And I am going to use the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool and put some glue on there with that. Ooh, got a little bit much, so I'm going to share it with another seagull. Have you seen seagulls share like that? I know you guys think I'm crazy, right? But you have to be crazy. Somebody's got to be crazy. Okay, there and there. Just a little bit. And we're going to put that seagull there. We're going to share a little bit more glue on here. Do you see my hurt right there? Oh, it was almost 2 weeks. Oh, it was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I tried to put a power nail through my finger. Yeah, that was not fun. We're building my brother. Whoa, I don't want those wings to match up. We're building my brother-in-law's nephew's house. And which is a lot of fun. But this house is the first time we've had a second floor on it. And so it's been a little bit different to build. Whoa, okay, pick this up again. And put it down. Come on. I want to cover up that glue that I already put on there. There we go. All right. I've got my congratulations, and on the back of my congratulations, I had done it another time, but it was crooked. So I had to, that thing of dimensionals are giving me troubles. So I'm going to put, normally I would probably just put 2 dimensionals on here to put down my sentiment, but because I'm putting down the netting, I am going to put 3, because that's what's going to hold my netting on, and I want my netting to be a little cattywampus like this. And there we go. Now my netting is glued down and I don't have to worry about it. Now I want my here we go, whoops, got some glue on the back of that one. So I am going to use a dimensional on the back of this shell and then sort of layer the other 2. May not even use both of them. I think I will just go with the star. And I will glue it down directly. It's got some pieces on the back of it. Isn't that funny? All right. There we go. Ta-da! Now I can put this on. And again, I need to decide, do I want another sentiment on it? Do I just want to put it in the middle? Do I want to put it this way? And I think I am going to put it portrait. Do make sure you have your card opening in the right direction. Ask me how I would know to do that. You can guess. I've done it wrong a couple of times. All right, and I am going to put this right in the middle as our template shows. There we go. Ta-da! Now we need to do the inside. And since I have a white card base, where's my stamp? Here we go. I am going to use, by the way, you see how this came off onto this? If you ever have a stamp that won't stick very well, then what you can do is wash it. Just wash it in warm soapy water, and usually that's all you need. All right, so I'm going to put my ocean here like that. There we go. And by the way, I'm using Misty Moonlight. That is not one of the colors in here, but that's okay. I like it for my water. Then I do want to close this up. And then I am going to use, where did it go? Calypso Coral, which is one of my colors for my sun. And do I want Calypso Coral? Yeah, Calypso Coral is fine. And I'm going to put my sun just a little bit into that water, like that, which looks gorgeous. And then this is what makes it so cool. I'm going to use one of the new shimmer brushes. This one is the Golden Glow. And I am going to fill this in so that I can see my sunset on the water. Isn't that just the coolest thing? There's my card. Whoops! My starfish came off. Is it going to stay? Yeah, it's going to stay that time. All right, there we go. How cool is that? Now, that is, I hope I got everything in there because, like I said, third time's the charm, right? But this is a template that we used. We decided to do templates. And on page 13, the third template is a card template. Can you see that? And so I do not have to keep this page because I have made my template that is going to go in my box. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to go on to the next person listed. Have a great, well, it's weekend for me. It'll be the middle of the week by the time you get this, but have a good one, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much.